I think that EJ is revealing how he feels about his chances to be great quickly in this National Football League. And I think he, like everyone else in this current crop of the drafted quarterbacks, is in for a rude awakening. They're all feeling themselves. They're all full of themselves. Matt Barkley is talking about how the Philly job is his job to lose. Even Mike Glennon in Tampa is saying he's got a real shot at unseating Josh Freeman. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking that all these young men are being misled by how easily it appeared that last year's quarterbacks became stars in this league.
Right.
That was a really special crop of quarterbacks, all the way down, obviously, to Russell Wilson in the third round, and we can't include Kaepernick in that group, but he was a first-year starter. And they were all sensational, because we're going to look back at that crop and say, wow, that was special. That was like 1983. So I ask you, you went through a pretty rough rookie year. You had some welcome to the NBA moments last year. I thought you'd be a little better, if not a lot better, than you were. And it's a struggle, man, because it's a hard game. It's a hard transition at your age to suddenly walk onto that floor against those grown men and say, here I am. I'm going to keep doing what I was doing at Duke. Give us your perspective on all this.
I mean, it is. Did he necessarily say the right thing? I don't think he said the wrong thing. I just think it's a little bit premature. Maybe at this point in time, it's a little bit less complex. He hasn't played a game yet. I guarantee you by game night of their opening game, he'll have 100 more plays. When they're on the road 3 or 4 games well in the season and guys aren't where they're supposed to be and their wide receivers aren't lining up properly and defenses are throwing different things, there's going to be a million more things going through his head. So right now for him to say it's less complex than it was in college, it's too premature. And as a rookie, things go through your mind 100 miles per hour. For me personally, when I was out there, I was battling injuries. And he's a quarterback. Guy's going to be coming for his head every single play. So he's going to be battling injuries. He's going to be thinking a million things, what to do right, what to do wrong. You have all this pressure. You're coming in. And those are the same things that I dealt with. And it took me 70% of the whole year for me to finally figure it out. And then once I did, I broke my hand.
Broke your hand.
So it's just like, I think right now for him to say it's not as complex as Florida State, it's way too premature.
Well, number one, before I get into Emmanuel, let me say this about you. I think you got a lot of promise. I believe in you. Just get in the weight room, put on some weight, because you know what? They're going to look at you. You got a game, okay? And they're going to say to you, we're going to hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Your hand is just the first of many injuries you're probably going to have in your career. Now, not injuries that may hopefully not make you miss any games, but they're going to make sure you feel them, okay? Because you're coming to take somebody's job. So just be ready for that, and you'll be fine. As it pertains to EJ Manuel, let me say this. Skip, here's the part that I think you're missing, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. But where I think it's incomplete, it's not just about last year's quarterbacks. It's what they did. See, a lot of times when you look at guys, even though you've got the read option, the spread option, whatever the case may be, the wildcat, it doesn't matter. What they see are guys running the football. What they see are guys displaying their athleticism, not necessarily being a drop-back, quintessential, prototypical passer where you're asked to read defenses and pick up a complicated NFL system in order to be allowed to be a quarterback on this level and go from there. What they're saying is because of a Kaepernick, because of an RG3, because of a Russell Wilson, more so than an Andrew Luck, what we're seeing is a conversion from what conventional football used to be about to something more akin to feeding these athletic quarterbacks, the Randall Cunninghams of the world, the Michael Vick of the world, the Donovan McNabbs of the world. That's all of a sudden in vogue. And as a result, these guys coming out of college are looking at some of the personnel that they're coming in to compete with and arguably replace, and they're seeing deficiencies in that level. And they're seeing that the NFL family is sort of embracing something a bit more wide open, a little less conventional, with more options that feed into whatever athleticism they believe they're bringing to the table. So I think it's like a bit of, it's happening by default. It's not so much that they just think they're ready. They think about the fact that the guys that they're coming in to compete against, to potentially take jobs from, clearly there's some deficiency in that category, and we believe we can take them. So as by virtue of that alone, we got a shot. EJ Manuel, take it for example. Do you remember We know that EJ Manuel is, even at Florida, despite passing for 3,300 yards, we know that he wasn't the quarterback that Geno Smith was at West Virginia. Sure. 2+ years, 4,200 yards, completing 71% of his passes. We didn't have Geno Smith sitting up in here, but when EJ Manuel walked up on this set, what did everybody say? Wow. Mike and Mike, wow. Sports in a wow. Because, number one, he was a bit imposing. He was a legitimate 6'4", 6'5",
yep.
had big hands, looked to have the body. And the way he came off, so cool,
great
so
charisma.
confident,
Yeah.
great charisma,
Yep.
interview, et cetera, et cetera. What did you see this new GM for the Bills? Out of Pittsburgh all of those years under the Rooney family, what did you see him talking about? Did you interview this guy? Did you see his composure? It's that it factor. That's what he was saying to people after talking to EJ Manuel. This is a dude that was projected to go 3rd or 4th round, ended up being a 1st round pick. Why? Because of that it factor. That's where it comes from.
Okay, I disagree with your run the football point, though. Okay. EJ and Geno did not run the football in college.
Right.
They dropped back and threw it.
I understand that.
That's what they expect to be able to do at the next level. I also threw Barkley and Glennon into this mix, not running quarterbacks.
But I'm making the argument that who's EJ Manuel? Go Patrick, Ryan Fitzpatrick?
Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? If that's who, is that who I'm coming in to succeed? I mean, talk about a wide open job. I mean, please.